Hello, I have a giant project junk journal to share with you. This is the biggest one that I have done. There are 208 pages, 4 signatures. This is a very special journal. This is a engagement guest book journal for my friend Kennedy, and she is having an engagement party next month, and she wants a junk journal for her guests to write in like a guest book. So this is what I've come up with. This is and she's really into like vintage, and she likes the vintage couples and romance and kind of like trees and nature-ish vintage. So I came up with this, and this is actually a vintage book. The guts, vintage, the cover guts, vintage 1950s book, and I think it was called High School Subjects Self-Taught. And I went ahead and painted it and added this slightly raised tree, and there's like this gold glimmer on it. And if you can see, I'll try to bring the light over, there is an embossed J and K for their initials in the hearts of the tree. On the spine, I added this really pretty vintage looking upholstery with this leaf. There's the 4 signatures on the back. There's a Tim Holtz flower die cut. I did a very simple brown tie ribbon. And here we go. She also gave me a lot of pictures to add. So in the beginning of this book, I added some lace here in the front and the bottom. And then this is one, I think it's from their engagement, or it's the first place they went on a date, something special like that. And it will mirror on the back. So here is that place with them facing this way, and then in the back it's the same place but they're facing that way, so like the end and the beginning. And I added a little ruler, kind of with the thought of growing together in love, and then Ecclesiastes 4:9, which is a verse she likes, 2 are better than 1. And so I added that as well. So let's get into it. Here's some like music score paper, and this is Junk That Treasures doily. I went ahead, coffee dyed it. I added this from Calico Collage, and that there as well. There's coffee dyed paper, there's pattern paper, there's tuck spots. I tried to really keep a guest book in mind. Also, these I will put in the description box below where I got them on Etsy. I came across them. I'm not on her design team or anything, but I thought that they were so adorable, so I just went ahead and purchased them. And I will put a link in the description box below. She has a lot of amazing things on her Etsy. I found these frames on Old Design Shop, and so I put their little picture there and set it together. Here's from Old Design Shop as well, these vintage watches. Here's an envelope with a journaling space in there for someone to write in as well. Here's a bag from Junk That Treasures, today is good, for someone to write in. And there's a photo. And then here's another journaling spot. I tried to keep, since this is a guest book, I tried to keep journaling in mind. Here's who, where, what, when, and the day of the week, so somebody could do a guest entry there as well. This is congratulations and happily ever after. This sheet music is from the I think around 1930-ish. And then it even has some notation still in it. And then I went ahead and added a little ribbon there. Cute little vintage postcards. Blessed. This is from the Old Design Shop as well. Hugs and kisses. And then in here there is, okay, so this says forever in love with you, and then on this side there's a little vintage couple clipped on there, and then in the back there's Faith and a little tag. So there's a lot of pockets, a lot of things clipped on Kennedy throughout here. You can take them off, distribute them throughout the book. If you don't want all of them, take them out, put them where you want to. You know, it's totally up to you. My 2-year-old. Coffee dyed, beautiful. Journaling cards tucked in. Okay, this is a giant thing I created here. This is a big tag from Junk That Treasures, and then I added multiple tuck spots. So here's the story back here in this tuck spot. Then I created this little tag, and that's a picture of them in that little frame, and then there's a bird there at the top. So there's a lot going on that tag there. Here's some journaling space for somebody on our way. And then journaling space here. This is a piece of wallpaper. It's really pretty, and I made this tuck spot with this little postcard. All of these little postcards can be written on the back as well. And Kennedy, I thought you may want to go through here. Here's a picture of Kennedy. I thought you may want to go through here as well and add more Bible verses that are special to you guys, and maybe some memories or other things either before or after you have your guests sign it. So that's totally up to you. There's some more journaling. And then I added the hymn, God Leads Us Along, and All the Way My Savior Leads Me. Vintage dictionary paper, stamps that say I love you. She loved the Norman Rockwell vintage, and I actually had this one in a magazine, which is getting their marriage license, so I definitely added that. And then there's a double pocket on this side, so here's a journaling spot in this pocket. In the pocket behind, it says us. It's clipped on, and you can open it up, and there's lots of journaling space for someone to write, for her to write memories, or one of the guests to write. And then here's a cool little like pocket, and then I added one of the pictures she sent me of the place they're getting married in there. This is a vintage Plants Around the Year Plant Life from a children's encyclopedia from the 50s. Photo tucked in there. And see, there's spaces here, like if this is a memory, like she has things or he has things they want to write about this photo, she could write it on here, or she could save that for something else. So there's a big journaling card clipped over the top here, and it says, "It's your day, celebrate." And then there's one of those little postcards. More stamping. This is a fabric sticker. Together, hugs and kisses. And then the entry for engage and engagement is right here. Some birds. Postcard. My 2-year-old is so frustrated. Pardon me, guys. It's past nap time, and the poor buddy's just kind of freaking out. And then here's a little tag. Another postcard. And this is another Norman Rockwell painting I found that was like a family tree, and I know family tree was one thing she wanted included, and it's a big pocket, so she could stick maybe cards she gets or invitations or whatever to her party can slip in there. It's backed with wallpaper, so this is an extremely strong, sturdy pouch for her. There's another journaling spot there. These are some vintage keys I found. And then there's picture she sent me, and then life is a journey, travel with me, and happiness is not a station you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. I add there, and then I added one of my paper ribbons. More Norman Rockwell. There's a little couple there in the door. Here's a piece of Tim Holtz paper, but I loved the vintage gentleman. It kind of went with the theme. It says date, and I sewed a little button up there. There's a little banner for someone to write their name or date. This is a giant postcard I blew up from an old design shop, and that would be really fun to journal on as well. Here's a pocket I sewed, and it says the best memories, and then there's a postcard and a little coffee dyed tag in there. Enjoy the little things. Some washi up there. There's a tag I made there. I think I paper clipped a couple pages together. We'll fix that. Here's the other side of that giant pocket, so she has room in there as well, and the rest of that family tree. And I turned this into a tuck spot, and I made this little file folder card. It says boy, and then there's some tickets for a dance and a theater, and then it tucks a little tag right there, and then of course there's space for journaling on the back. Love never ends. And here is a pocket tag with that there. And I did a tutorial on this that should, I hope to put it up and then this week sometime, so you can see how I made those. There's a journaling card. Photo that I stitched around up there. This is parchment paper. This beautiful doily is from Junk That Treasures, and then I used Distress Oxides on it, or Distress Stain, or I think I used Oxides. Anyway, I used some Distress Medium on that. Here's another Norman Rockwell romantic painting. More of that vintage sheet music, and there's actual like writing from the piano teacher or student on it. There's another place for a date or something. Photo washi on. And I used Distress Oxides on this doily. This is a vintage picture of Robin Hood and Maid Marian, and of course that's a lovely vintage literature couple that I thought went well with this, so I love this. I made it in the middle of the signature. Happiness. I love this background from the old design shop, Graphics Fairy, and I printed it on the back of this family tree that I found online and purchased specifically to put in this journal, and I'll probably use it in other books as well, but she can put their name and do the family tree however she would like to. I love the little birds and how vintage it looks, so I added that in here as a page. And then there's another little pocket tag, Norman Rockwell. Remember this, for the record, some ledger paper. And this is some Distress Stain. And we come to the end. So Kennedy, I hope that this was what you were looking for your guest book. I hope that you will be able to fill it with lots of memories and love. It was a pleasure making it for you. I hope that I captured your spirit and your essence in it. And thank you for trusting me to do this for you. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful day.